How's everybody this morning?
Great.
Well, I guess I'll start. Let me talk to you. I'd like to talk about the Feldenkrais method first in terms of what it is not. First and foremost, it is not exercise. You know, so many of us for so many years have pursued exercise as a means to wellness. And it is one of many means to wellness, but the Feldenkrais method is based in neuroscience and learning pedagogy. So in terms of comparing it to exercise, you know, exercise, it's easy to just go to the gym and pick up a set of weights and just do 20 bicep curls and not think twice about it. You're there to do your thing and not spend any time considering how you are doing what you're doing, or how you are doing what you're doing contributes to the difficulties that you're having. When you engage yourself with the Feldenkrais method, you have an opportunity to explore yourself. Each of you has the same stuff. We all have a brain, we have a nervous system, we have a skeleton, we have muscles, tendons, ligaments, but we organize ourselves through our nervous system in a way that's as individual as a snowflake, since we were talking about snows, or a fingerprint, which is why you can see somebody from off in a distance and know who they are. You can see that they are somebody that you know, and you can recognize them simply based on the way they move. While we all move in a way that is unique to us, we organize ourselves in a way that is unique to ourselves, our injury history, our movement pattern history, our illness history, our physical health history. All of those things are learned behaviors because a child is born and there is the child. And from the time it's born, it starts to learn. And we have started to learn from the time that we were born. So I do not want you to think about this as exercise. I would like you to try to restrain yourself a little bit and really take the time to explore the way in which you do the things I ask you to do. There are several things that are important to keep in mind. First is to go slow. Always slow is better. And if something hurts, you don't do it. It's that simple. You just imagine yourself doing it, because to imagine it, your nervous system lights up the same places in your brain as if you're actually doing the thing that I'm asking you to do. So monitor yourself carefully, go slowly, do not hurt yourself. If you cannot make things smaller and smaller and smaller, just do it in your imagination. And you'll find that you get many of the same benefits as people who are able to do the thing that I'm asking you to do. I'll give you some time for some questions and for some feedback at the end. And let's begin with today's lesson. So I'll just preface it by saying we're going to be working with your ankles. So if you've had a sprained ankle or you have an injury history to your ankle, this will be very illuminating for you. If you've had a hip replacement or a knee replacement, this will be very illuminating for you, because the knee is kind of an innocent joint. It bears the brunt of things that are happening in our hip and in our ankle. So again, if it hurts, don't do it. Just go slowly and reduce the size of what it is I'm asking you to do it, and do it in such a way that's so small that you can feel it, but nobody else in the room with you at home or on the screen would be able to see that you are doing anything. Just sense yourself. So go ahead and bring yourself forward, sitting in your chair, and have your feet flat on the floor. Let your hands relax. You can let them rest on your thighs in a comfortable place. If you're lying in your bed, you can, again, just be comfortable for you wherever you are, and just have a sense of how you are making contact with the surface that you're either sitting on or lying on. Notice the parts of you that push in to the surface, the parts of you that don't touch the surface. And if you're in sitting, take your attention to your pelvis. And in your pelvis, underneath your buttocks, you have two bones of your pelvis where your hamstrings attach. And we call them colloquially your sits bones because you sit on them. So see if you can sense and feel the right one. And sense and feel the shape of it, the roundness of it. And see if you can sense and feel where your weight is on that bone, whether it's forward or off to one side or maybe to the inside. How does it line up with the bone that you're sitting on the left? How much weight is on that right side compared to the left side? And from your pelvis, travel up in your imagination, up through your spine, up to where your head floats at the top of your spine. And just sense and feel how your head is resting there. And just notice where your chin is, whether it's to the right or to the left of whatever you think is your middle. Sense and feel your shoulders. Feel your right shoulder. And then sensing and feeling that right shoulder, whatever that is to you, then see if you can also sense and feel your right earlobe. And then draw a line from your right earlobe down to your right shoulder and just measure it in your sense of yourself. And then sense the left shoulder and the left earlobe. And draw that line between your left earlobe and your left shoulder. And just sense and feel how long that line is. Your brain is already wired for making comparisons. So you've already drawn some conclusions for yourself about how your head is resting. And just notice if your right shoulder feels like it's forward toward your screen, or if it feels like it's back behind. If your left shoulder feels forward or back behind. And then take your attention back to your sits bones and just sense and feel how you are sitting on your pelvis now. And see if anything has changed just because you paid attention to some things upstream. And now sense your right sits bone, and in your imagination, travel out from your sits bone down through your right leg to your right knee, and sense and feel how that line of your leg would continue forward into space. Notice if the line moves toward your middle, if it moves toward the outside. Where is your heel relative to your knee? Is it inside your knee or outside your knee? Is it closer to your buttocks or further forward? And sense your right footprint on the floor, so that if you were to dip your foot in a bucket of ink, sense and feel which parts of your foot would make heavy contact with the floor, so that that ink would be very dark, where there are parts of your foot that make less contact with the floor, so that ink would be lighter. And sense and feel what parts of your foot make no contact with the floor. Where are your toes on the right pointing? And then take your attention to your left sits bone and travel out from your left sits bone in the direction of your left knee. And just continue that line forward into space and just sense and feel where that direction of the line goes. Notice whether it goes inside or outside of your knee. And where is your heel relative to your knee on the left? Sense and feel the sole of your left foot on the floor, where there's heavy contact, where there's less contact, where there's no contact. And feel where your toes are pointing on the left side. Now just letting your hands be relaxed down by your sides or in your lap with your palms up. If your palms are in your lap, it's very important that your palms be up so you're not pushing down on your thighs. See if you can make a movement with your right knee to the middle and to the outside. And just move your right knee a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. Keeping in mind, this is a tiny thing. So I'd like you to think in fractions first. So think really, really, really small, because the less you do, the more you'll feel. And that's the whole point, is for you to feel yourself. So you're just moving your knee right and left and keeping the sole of the foot relaxed. See if you can start to lift the edges of the foot once on the right side and once on the left side, just as the knee is moving. Keeping the sole of the foot relaxed. And see if you can feel how the outside edge of the right foot lifts, that pinky toe edge, and the inside edge. And start to pay attention specifically to your ankle. And just move the foot so the outside edge lifts and the inside edge lifts. And as you start to become more comfortable with the way you do that, see if you can very slowly start to eliminate the movement of your knee so that you just lift the outside edge and the inside edge. Check in with your breathing. Are you holding your breath? Keep your breath free and easy, because holding your breath is a sign of effort. Relaxing your jaw. And start to pay attention to your big toe. See if even when you go to the outside, your big toe can stay on the floor. And when you go to the inside, the big toe stays on the floor. Can you sense and feel how, as the edges of the foot lift, that you roll through the bones of the feet, relaxing any tension you feel in your muscles of your thigh or around your knee. When you're satisfied with all that, then do this movement more quickly and more easily. Even if there's a slight movement in your knee, still do the movement faster. But to the extent to which it's possible for you, see if you can eliminate the movement in the knee and only feel how the ankle is moving. Keeping the toes heavy on the floor, especially that big toe. And then when you're satisfied with all of that, just rest. You can slide back in your chair. The rest portion is very important. That's where your brain starts to make connections and starts to cement your learning through your neural pathways. So if you find that you get really tired or you start yawning, it's probably a good indicator that you've done too much for you based on your individual history. So do less. You can rest whenever you need to rest. You don't need me to tell you to rest. You just rest for yourself, and then you join back when you feel like you're ready. And go ahead and bring yourself forward again. Now, this time, extend your right leg so that it's long, like you're driving in the car. In my case, I have a clutch. So I'm doing left and right, but the leg is long, and keep your left leg bent. And now move your knee on the left together with your foot, right and left, so that the inside and the outside of your foot are lifting from the floor. And start to notice the relationship between the knee and the ankle. When your knee goes to the inside, what is happening with your foot? When your knee goes to the outside, what is happening? with the foot. And see if you can find a way to keep the sole of your foot quiet so that there's no movement in your toes. The heel moves with the sole of the foot. And see if you can gradually eliminate that movement of the knee. And pay attention that your foot does the same thing, which means that the outside edge lifts and the inside edge lifts. And see if you can pay attention so that when you go to the inside, the whole inside edge of your foot stays on the floor, including the big toe. And when you go to the outside edge, the big toe still stays on the floor. So even though you're rolling through the bones of the feet, that big toe on the left does not lift, it stays down. Think of it being very heavy. And see if you can sense and feel what's happening upstream of your knee. Can you sense and feel what happens with your sits bone as you roll on that foot? See if you can feel how you're actually also rolling on your sits bone. See if you can eliminate any movement in your toes so that your foot can become more organized without any interference from your ankle or your knee. Or your pelvis. You might even notice something in your right shoulder or in your neck or at the base of your skull where your head is floating on the top of your spine. And then when you're satisfied with that, then see if you can gently speed up the movement to make it quick and light. Keep your foot in a relaxed place on the floor and feel how the movement of the ankle is what causes the weight to shift through the bones on the foot. Are you holding your breath? Check in with your breathing to make sure that your breathing stays free and easy. And then you can just leave all of that and slide yourself back in your chair and rest. Now bring yourself forward and see if you can arrange your feet in such a way that your right foot is lifted in the heel and the knee is pointing down in the direction of the floor, which may require you to adjust your position in your sitting on the chair so that the right heel is up, the right toes and the ball of the foot are on the floor. And either imagine or actually slide your hand down to the right in the direction of your heel. Go slowly, slowly, and do that a few times so that you can feel for yourself how you have to slide your hand down as if. So there's no goal here, no pushing to require that you touch that heel with your hand, but just feel what happens as you slide your hand down in the direction of the heel. Feel what happens in your pelvis, how you organize yourself to stay balanced on your chair. What happens with the pressure in the ball of your foot as the hand slides down. Then once you find that you know where your comfortable place is with your hand down in the direction of your heel, just imagine that you are holding the heel. You just imagine it. And then take your right heel to the right and to the left. And pay attention that you're not just moving the right heel, but that you can feel how your whole lower leg is moving. And feel how the pressure goes through the ball of your foot, from your big toe to your pinky toe and back. Pay attention to how much movement you feel in your ankle. Most of us can feel this side to side movement pretty easily. Almost everybody's had an ankle sprain at some point in time or another. And then just stop somewhere back in the middle and see if you can lift your heel up a little bit more and then drop it in the direction of the floor a little bit so that you can feel that in the front of the ankle, when the heel lifts, that gets longer, the space gets longer. But when you drop the heel down to the floor, the angle at the front of your ankle becomes shorter. And just do that many times slowly, just lifting and lowering. Feeling how much movement you have in your ankle and how much movement you feel in the heel. And pay particular attention, especially those of you with a knee replacement, to the freedom of your knee as the heel goes up and as the heel goes down toward the floor. Check in with your breath to make sure that your breathing is free and easy, that there's no strain. And feel how your knee comes forward in space as the heel lifts, and as the heel goes down, the knee goes back. Go slowly, slowly. And just feel the trajectory of your heel through the knee, through your pelvis. And then lower the heel as close to the floor as you can. And then take your attention to your knee. And just bring the knee forward lightly and bring the knee back. And just see if you can sense a difference in the way you move when your attention is focused on your knee as opposed to on your ankle. And dropping that heel in the direction of the floor very slowly. See if you can make a circle with your knee in the direction of the floor. Go slowly. Feel how you have to organize yourself to balance on your chair to make that circle. Feel how the weight shifts in your pelvis through your sits bones. Maybe you feel something in your rib cage, your shoulders, your head. Go slowly, because we're trying to make sure that we organize ourselves so that all the pressure on your foot is organized between your big toe and your pinky toe. So you're on the ball of that foot. And then see if you can slowly take your attention to that space between your big toe and your second toe. That place where if you wore flip-flops, you had a thong there. Go slowly. And see if your little toe can just be relaxed and stay on the floor as you move your knee in a circle, but keep the attention focused on that spot right where you would have the thong of a flip-flop. And if you need to rest, you can rest, or if you are satisfied, then you can very slowly change the direction and the movement of your knee. Go slowly at first. Those of you who've done this for a while, you know that the range of motion improves as the organization improves, and the organization improves when the movement is slow and the attention is given to the places where you move easily, noticing the places where your circle is very smooth, where it may feel like it needs some WD-40. And then just leave all of that and bring your foot back to the floor in the front, just where you started. And just sense and feel the difference in the way the right foot makes contact with the floor compared to the left one. And then slide back in your chair and rest. Bring yourself forward in your chair. Just feeling how you're sitting now. And then go ahead and bend your left knee so that you point the knee down toward the floor and that you're standing on the toes of the left foot. And start to do that movement of sliding your hand down to the left as if you're going to take hold of your left heel. Go slowly. Just feel where you have to bend, where you have to move, where you feel ease. Going slowly. Make sure you're breathing. Sensing and feeling where you can reduce your effort. And then when you're satisfied, just slide that hand down in the direction of as if you were going to take hold of that heel. And then very gently start to move the heel right and left. But of course, you know that it's not just the heel, that it's your whole lower leg that's moving to the right and to the left, that left lower leg. And pay attention to the pressure on the floor between your big toe and your little toe on that left foot. And sense and feel how shifting the weight by taking that lower leg in and out translates up through your leg into your hip joint. Feel how you have to be organized to balance on your chair. Just notice what's different for you here, resting anytime you need to rest. Just relax the foot, keep the knee pointing in the direction of the floor, and start to lift the heel up a little more and drop the heel down toward the floor. And you just bring the heel up and down, going slowly, feeling how The ankle, when the heel goes up, the front of the ankle feels like it gets longer. And when the heel goes down, the front of the ankle closes. Go slowly, especially those of you with knee replacements and hip replacements. Always looking for ways to reduce your effort, reduce any unnecessary work, and pay attention to how much movement you have in your ankle and in your heel on this left side. And lowering the heel as close as you can to the floor, but allowing that knee to come forward, and feel how the weight in your pelvis changes as the knee comes forward. You might feel something in your rib cage, in your shoulders, relaxing your jaw. And pay particular attention to the idea of keeping your knee free. So there's no strain around the muscles of your knee, in your thigh. The knee is just kind of going along for the ride based on what's happening with the heel. Sensing how the lifting and the lowering of the heel translates up through the knee, up into the hip joint, into the pelvis. And then once again, take your attention away from your heel and take it to your knee. And feel how the knee moves forward and the knee moves down as the heel goes down. And just notice how things are different for you because you've shifted your attention from your ankle to your knee. When you're satisfied with that, see if you can make a circle with your left knee down in the direction of the floor. Go slowly. And feel how the movement of that circle of the left knee changes the way you sit on your chair, reducing your effort. Start to pay attention to the points on the foot where you have to support yourself in making that circle with your knee. Allowing your toes to be quiet. Allowing your little toe to stay down on the floor so that you slowly organize to that point of your flip-flop thong on your foot. And feel how your little toe actually gets longer. And of course, you're thinking about holding that heel with your hand on the left. And then once you've organized yourself so that that's easy and smooth and that you can do it without effort, then change the direction of the circle of your knee, going really slowly at first, keeping that left hand down in the direction of your heel. When you're satisfied with all of that, then just allow your foot to come forward. Sense and feel how your left foot makes contact with the floor, and slide back in your chair and rest. Go ahead and bring yourself forward and keep your left foot to the front and bring your right foot back so that your right knee is down in the direction of the floor and that you're standing on the ball of that right foot. And now start to make the circle with your right knee and just see if you learned, if it's easier for you now. Does it feel like it's less work? There's more of you involved. And just come back and slide that right hand down as if you're going to grab hold of the right heel and see if you can slide farther now without efforting. And then keep your hand in the direction of that right heel and see if you can increase the movement of your heel so that the heel makes a complete circle. Go slowly. So that when you go inward, you want to feel when you go inward with the knee, you want to feel that all the weight is going to be on your big toe. And you can feel how the position of the ankle shifts. The ankle moves and pushes out to the outside when your heel goes inside. Go slowly, relaxing your jaw. Pay particular attention to what you notice. If there's effort in the back of your neck. And see if you can feel that when the heel goes in, your knee has to go out at the same time. Bring your foot forward and rest. And slide your right foot behind you again, keeping that left foot to the front. Remembering which direction you circled your heel the last time, slide your right hand down in the direction of your heel. See if it's any easier. And then slowly reverse the direction of the circle of the heel. Going slowly. Just feeling what's different about the way you organize yourself to move your heel in the opposite direction. Relaxing your tongue. Keep your eyes soft. And notice how your heel moves in and where your knee goes in this direction. Can you feel that your knee goes out as your heel goes in? And your knee goes in as your heel goes out. And that the ankle does a very particular thing. And when you're satisfied with that, just leave all of that and rest. Bring yourself to sit and have your feet standing on the floor in the front. And once again, with that right foot, try to lift the inside edge of your foot and come back and lift the outside edge. And just pay attention to see if it's different than it was before. Did your big toe get smarter? See if you can sense and feel movement in the muscles of your lower leg, in the region of your calf muscle. Is your knee quieter than it was before? And just to see if there's a difference here, see if you can lift the left inside edge when you lift the right, and lift the outside edge. So you're moving both the right foot and the left foot, and just sensing and feeling the difference in the organization of the right foot and the left foot. Does one foot feel like it's smarter than the other? And just pick up the tempo. Sometimes it's a little more obvious when you go quickly. You feel how that right foot is very solid in the ground and very easy to move. And the left foot might not even feel like it belongs to you. And then just rest. Resting, see if you can sense and feel how your right leg feels, and just compare it to your left one in your resting. Slide yourself forward in your chair and keep that right leg to the front and slide the left foot behind so that the knee is down and that you're resting on the ball of the foot. Slide your left hand down. See if it's easier for you to slide down in the direction of your heel now. Thinking about as if you could grasp a hold of the heel. You don't have to, you just think about it, but slide the hand down. And remember, you're making the circle with your heel. So make that circle with your left heel, keeping your right foot quiet on the floor. Make sure that you're not holding your breath or that you're creating effort or strain in the back of your neck. And see if you can slowly and gradually increase the movement of your heel so that it makes a full circle. And just feel how your left foot is organized. And when you go in with your heel, pay attention so that all of your weight is on your big toe. And that you can feel the angle between your foot and your ankle. And feel how the ankle moves to the outside when the heel comes to the inside. And when the heel goes to the outside, the ankle protrudes to the inside. What's happening with your knee? See if you can feel how when the heel goes in, your knee goes out. And when your heel goes out, the knee goes in. And feel those muscles in the lower leg. Reducing the effort, reducing the tension. Where you're working too hard, do less. Just focus on it being smooth and easy. Noticing the shape of the circle on this heel compared to the shape of the circle that you drew with your right heel. And then just bring that foot forward and just rest as you are in your sitting. And slide that left foot back behind you. Slide your left hand down as if you're going to grab onto that heel. Just feel how easy that is now, and change the direction of your circle of the heel on your left foot. Go slowly. Sense and feel what's different in your organization as you change the direction. Going slowly, finding where you can reduce your effort. Noticing how when your heel goes out, what happens with your knee? What happens with your ankle? When your knee goes in, or when your heel goes in, what happens with your knee? What happens with your ankle? And when you're satisfied with all of that, just slide back in your chair for a real rest. Bring yourself forward. Take that left foot behind you, just as you did before, and revisit that idea of your heel lifting and lowering to the floor on the left. Just revisit that and see if you can feel that if you're able to move in the ankle more, your knee doesn't really do much now. It just slides a little forward and a little back, almost staying in place because there's more range in your ankle. And if it's coming all the way forward, you know that you're not really doing the movement with your ankle. So really focus on the joint of the ankle. And then just let your foot be in a rested position and turn your knee to make circles with your knee again. And feel how the weight shifts in your pelvis and in your sits bones. Make sure that you're moving gently so that you can feel how there are changes in the support from your big toe through the other toes as the knee makes a circle. And then when you're satisfied with that, change the direction of the circle of your knee, going slowly so you can feel the differences and how your weight shifts in your pelvis. Maybe you can feel that your tailbone moves from side to side. And then just bring your leg forward and rest. And slide the right leg behind you so that you're standing on the toes. And do that movement of moving your ankle so that the front of the ankle expands. And then as the heel goes down toward the floor, that angle gets closer together. And just feel how the knee on this side moves. sensing and feeling what's different for yourself. Is the knee wiser on this side? Is it more involved? Is it less involved? And when you're satisfied with that, just allow your foot to be relaxed and draw the circle with your knee. Feeling how the support goes through the ball of your foot. Relaxing your jaw. Reducing any effort at the back of your neck where your head joins onto your spine. Making sure your breath is easy. And when you're satisfied with that, then just reverse the direction, going slowly as you change direction. Reversibility is an indication of a well-organized nervous system. Is it as easy for you to go in this direction? And just bring your foot forward. And lift the inside edge and the outside edge of the right foot. And sense and feel how you are with that now. And start to add the left foot to it. Did the left foot get smarter? And just allow your feet to come to rest on the floor. Remembering how your right footprint was at the beginning of the lesson. How does your right footprint look different now? How about your left footprint? Sense and feel how you make contact with your chair or on your bed. Where there's contact, where there's space. Sense and feel how much weight you have on your right side. And sense and feel how much weight you have on your left side. And feel those sits bones in your chair and travel up from your sits bones up through your spine to where your head rests at the top. And just sense and feel where your head is now compared to the beginning of your lesson. And that's your lesson for today. I'll open the floor for some questions if there are any.
Yeah, I see. That was great. I see Marion has her hand up. So if you want to unmute Marion, we can go and get to that question. Go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to ask you, with this exercise that we did, would it help us to improve our steadiness in our walking and, you know, as far as our balance would go, so we wouldn't be as apt to fall as we're walking?
Absolutely. I never say that word, you know, that F word. I don't even have that in my vocabulary. So, because when we start thinking about that, then, you know, we say don't, you know, we start thinking about it. So absolutely, finding your feet is vitally important for anyone who's had cancer and chemo or diabetic neuropathy. Just anybody who has experienced that knows how that translates up through your entire system and makes you feel uncertain because you cannot sense and feel yourself on the floor. But this particular lesson is great for helping you find how your feet move relative to all the other parts of you. It's a good question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other
Does
questions?
anyone else have another question for Stacia? About anything about the balance, about any pain that you might be having or that you feel better about since the beginning? Anna, go ahead if you want to unmute.
The fact is that I had a knee operation, knee replacement. Would that cause any problem?
Well, as I said, a knee is an innocent joint. you know, and it often fails as a consequence of something that's happening in the hip or in the feet. So it certainly helps you integrate your knee replacement because you start to realize how you're using your foot maybe in the way that required you to need a knee replacement in the first place, so that you can develop new patterns to help yourself have more availability in that knee, in the implant, in the knee itself. I've found, having worked with many people who've had knee replacements, that you go to PT afterwards and they're concerned with how far you can bend your knee and how far you can straighten your knee. But there's not a lot of attention given to how your ankle joint moves or how your hip joint moves that is inhibiting the way in which your new knee is going to work. And so I spend a lot of time with people helping them integrate their new parts. You know, it's because you're,
No, I find it interesting that I had both of my knee replaced, but when I did the exercise, one of my knee was hurting more than the other.
Mhm. And
It has to do with the hip.
it can be the hip, it can be the ankle, it can be the way the muscles are organized in the lower leg, the calf. I mean, we are integrated beings. We can't, you know, one piece impacts everything else. If you break your toe and you change the way you walk on the sole of your foot, it's going to translate up into your knee, into your ankle, into your hip, even into your opposite shoulder.
Thank you.
So.
Okay. Is there anybody else?